So I'm finally doing a video on fixing fuel leaks. I've got another video on how to find your fuel leaks, which I will put a link to somewhere in this area. If you want, you can watch that one, find your leak. What this video is going to be is it's going to be one video for fixing everything. I'm doing an entire, like what I call overhaul of the fuel system. Everything's coming out, everything's going back in with something new replaced on it. Hopefully just eliminate all the leaks. And you can do that if you want to too. It really only is going to cost about 25 bucks to do. Unless you replace the fuel drain valve, which I'm doing on this one, that'll cost you about a total of 50 bucks for the whole thing. But if you just want to replace the sleeves and O-rings and everything, you're looking at 25 bucks. It's not a big deal. So I'm going to start by taking the fuel bowl out and go from there. Okay, well, we're going to need to drain the fuel. I've got a catch can here with a hose running up to the drain valve tube. Once we get on top of the motor, I'll show you where the drain valve is and go ahead and drain that. That there is the drain valve. It's right on the back side of the fuel bowl. We're going to go ahead and pop that open. Okay, now that the fuel is drained, we're going to go ahead and close the valve. I'm going to take our 5/8 wrench and take this nut off. Oh, look at that. Look at that sleeve. Right there. Look at that. No, 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 no. No, no. And the 3/4 wrench down below here. And the 9/16 on these. And last but not least, the two bolts. There's one here and one here. 13mm socket. Just going to push this hose out of the way. And pull it on out. And be careful not to drop it. I always manage to drop this one into the fan cowl. There we go. And this just lifts straight up. Okay, and to get to the passenger side fuel line, we have to move this out of the way. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this clamp off, one down here at the intercooler, and rotate this up and out of the way. Tuck that to the side. So what we're looking at right now is the turbo downpipe. I cannot film this while doing it. It is down here. No, it's kind of down here actually. I can't film while doing it, so you're just going to have to trust me and look for it. It's there. It's a pain. Okay, once you get the nut off, you've got that this little clip right here. It's right next to the turbo pedestal. It's this right here. Oh, mine is incredibly loose. Anyway, you have to take this off, and that clip is a culprit sometimes. It can wear a hole in the line, so we're going to take that off and try and fix that. So I've got the fuel lines out, the fuel bowls out, and I've got my new sleeves, and I'm replacing the fuel drain valve. I'm not repairing it. Mine, I think, is broken. I think it's got a crack because it leaks nonstop. Okay, so we're going to take this drain valve off. It's got these 4 screws. They are a T20 screw. So we're just going to go ahead and, like I said, I'm replacing this. You can, if yours, I think mine's cracked or broken somehow. If you think yours is fine, which 90% of the time they are, you don't have to replace it. The valve cost me about 35 bucks, I think. You don't have to replace it. Instead, you can spend $3 and just rebuild it and replace the O-rings. See, I had done that already, and that didn't fix it. So instead of fussing around with it, I decided just get it taken care of and put a new one on there that I know is going to be good. And what's nice is when you buy the new one, I'll put a link in the description if you want to buy a new one. When you buy the new one, it comes with the O-rings pre-installed, so you can't screw it up. But for the people who want to just rebuild the drain valve and not replace it, I will go ahead and put a link in the description for a video for that too. This is the top line on the right hand side. When it's in the truck, it's facing, it's like this. It sits like that. So this is the right hand side. This is the top line. This is the fuel pressure regulator. Got to be careful with these. They can break. You can buy aftermarket ones that are a little bit stronger. When you rebuild the entire thing, which I am not going to do today because I've done it before on this one, it doesn't need it again. There's an O-ring in here that gets replaced, and there's also a spring in here. So when you take this off, it's just these two screws right there. They're a T25 screw. When you take them off, just be careful because there's a spring in there and you don't want to lose it. There's an O-ring in there. It is this O-ring right here. So that goes in there, and you'll replace that. Another thing is this is the bottom one. This is I believe the return line. Every time I take the fuel bowl out, the line doesn't come off, the fitting for the bowl comes off. See how over here it's got these fittings? It comes off on this side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the fitting, I'm going to use a thread sealant on it. This is the stuff I'm using because it is, where does it say? Somewhere on here, diesel fuels. So all kinds of stuff, but I wanted one that's good for diesel fuel. So it's hard to find, you have to order it. But that's the stuff I'm going to use, and hopefully that'll be strong enough just to seal this back up and keep that fitting from coming out. I'm also going to use that on this. This is a Schrader valve for a fuel pressure gauge for testing. There are two ports. There's this one, and there is this one. I believe this one is the pre-filter, and this is post-filter. Yes, because these go out to the heads. So that makes sense. This is post-filter, pre-filter. Also included with the fuel rebuild kit is two O-rings that go behind here. This connects to your fuel bowl heater on the inside, and on the outside is where it connects to the PCM. Also, this is where the drain valve goes. When you rebuild the kit, there will be, I think it's yellow, some like a coating on these rings. And what you have to do is I took some embry cloth and just clean them up until there's no more yellow there. As you can see, mine's already been done. That's like I said, because I've done the rebuild before. But that is something you'll have to do. You have to get the coating completely off, and it will also be on the inside of these. And you can see these O-rings are not the factory; they are replacement. But I'm going to take a look at this drain valve. This drain valve has given me so much trouble. These are more fittings. These go to the, let's see, driver and passenger side heads. Each one has a sleeve, which is included in the rebuild kit. And what's not included in the rebuild kit is the sleeves for the ends at the heads, but I am doing those, so that will be included. Also, let's see, I think that's it. Oh, inside here, inside the filter housing, is a little spring mechanism that's got some O-rings in it and stuff. I really probably should show you how to do that. And once you've either rebuilt your old fuel drain valve or got your new one, you're going to go ahead and take the top of the lever, slide it up here, and then go ahead and put it back on. Okay, and because I didn't do it last time, I'm going to take these fittings out and put thread sealant on them, just for precaution. Okay, one more issue we need to address is this clip. As I was telling you, it can wear a hole in the tube. It sits right there, and you can see it's got this little rubber coating on it around here, but that's not sufficient all the time. This tube does not have a hole in it, but what we're going to do is we're going to protect that. I'm just going to use some tape. I'm just going to... This is no special tape, it's just black duct tape. Like I said, I don't know if it's going to hold up to the heat or not. I hope so, but if it doesn't, I don't think it's going to cause an issue. And that feels pretty good. So, hopefully that'll work. And these are the sleeves. They go in these nuts, and let me see if I can pull this one out. Okay. That's the, where'd it go? Here's the sleeve. This sleeve looks really good. Like I said, I just put these in though, so that doesn't really surprise me. But they go on the ends like this. And they sit there. And the nut goes over them like that. And their whole purpose is to allow this to happen. That's their whole purpose. So, but this is going away because I only like to use them once. So once I've used them, I like to replace them. And we just slide them on over the end there, just like that. And this one. There you go. I'm just going to feed it down through here to the general area where it needs to go. Carefully so I don't screw up the sleeves. Alright, that's about where it needs to be. I'm going to tighten them down. Okay, I've got the fuel line hooked back up, the clip hooked up. It is up here. Everything has new sleeves on it. The fuel bowl is in, and right now I'm just going to tighten everything up, and hopefully it's finally over, this reign of terror. Now, it's a lot easier if you get the bottom one first, because it allows you room to move your wrench. Your wrench wants to move through here like this. Your wrench is going to want to have this room available right here. So it's easier if you get the bottom one first. Now, just kind of loosely get the nut on there. Just to kind of, because you want to center this. It's got so many places it needs to connect to. What I've done is I've already threaded a bolt from through the H-pop to here, just to kind of hold it in place. So I'm going to go ahead and tighten that down a little bit more, but still give us a little wiggle room so I can get the lines into place. Okay, that's mostly secured, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my 3/4 wrench, come down here, and finish tightening this up. Okay, now I'm going to do this one. The other one's still kind of loose, so I can still maneuver it without damaging anything. So what you have to do, now that I'm on one you can see, is you have to take the line and first line it up. Come on. Okay. You have to take the line, you have to push it in first, okay? And you kind of have to hold it in while you put the nut on. Helps if you don't cross thread the nut though. And you don't want to torque it down. But see, there's a small gap here. You want you want them to be flush. Now it's you can still, it still looks like there's a gap, but there's not. It's flush. You want them to be flush, and you know what? I'm gonna back that off just a tiny bit. That should be good. I'm gonna go ahead and connect these two lines down here. These ones they're fun is not the word I would use. All right, back at the front of the truck. Those went on a lot easier than they usually do. So, just gonna tighten these down. And then don't forget the fuel drain valve tube, which is actually more of a pain to get on than you would think. Now, one other thing that I forgot to mention earlier is this. This is the plug for the fuel bowl heater. I leave it unplugged. This is the worst way to leave it unplugged, just dangling. That's my bad. Don't do that. Okay, so I just put the intercooler tube back on, reconnected the map sensor, and I'm ready to prime the motor. While I'm here, I just want to say, first of all, thanks for watching, subscribe, like, comment, whatever. But I know today's video sucked. I was all over the place. I didn't show you a lot of what I needed to. I didn't show you the full fuel bowl rebuild, which I really wanted to. But I needed to do this today, and I had a time constraint today. So feel free to send me a message, questions, comments, whatever. I will send you a link to a couple forums that I'm on if you want to ask questions, post stuff, whatever. But feel free to ask questions because I know I missed a lot of stuff. I know I jumped around a lot. So I'm going to prime the motor right now, and hopefully we won't have any leaks. You can hear it. It's filling, filling, filling. Look at that. No leaks.